All right, why's your shirt wet? What's going on with your shirt?
Is it sweat?
It's a sweat. Because
from the airbag?
The airbag just...
Well, the airbag doesn't have water in it, so...
It doesn't have water. Why is there water?
Because I'm stressed.
Stress? Okay. All right, we got EMS coming to check you out, okay?
All
right, so just stay in the car for me. He's got a LaCroix in the front seat. He couldn't explain to me how his shirt got wet.
Baker 1321.
Well, it's because he had a LaCroix in his hand when he freaking crashed into a tree, probably. So that just tells you more so that he's intoxicated.
Hi y'all, how's it going? This is Eric Cardenas, attorney at Attorney Tom and Associates Law Firm. And today I have another episode of Attorney Reacts where I will be reacting to a video titled Manatee County Commissioner George Cruz Crash Body Cam Video by 10 Tampa Bay CBS local news affiliate. So let's get right into it.
He swerved and ended up hitting this, and his airbag went off, and so now he's kind of a little out of it. I didn't see anything that happened. I have absolutely no idea.
Okay. Let me talk to him real quick. What's his name?
George Cruz?
George Cruz? Okay. Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Can you tell me what happened?
I was coming through the gate and somebody cut me off and blew right past me, and I tried to hit my brakes and curve around them and just cut a curb.
Okay. So you're saying that somebody was going around you?
Somebody cut, our whole road's being ripped up. So
Right.
they try to curve around me, so I hit my brakes and I just swerved over here.
Why is there water?
Because I'm stressed.
Stress. Okay. All right, we got EMS coming to check you out, okay? All right, so just stay in the car for me. Do you have your license on you?
Do you need EMS?
I don't need EMS.
Well, we'll have them at least come check you out.
I
The
live
airbag
a-
deployment and stuff
I-
like that, you want to have them at least looked at.
I live a half mile.
So at this point, we're dealing with a potential DUI, it seems like. And we don't know this
Wrong group.
yet from the video, but from the
East-
title, we're dealing with the
East
county
two.
commissioner,
North.
elected official in Florida. I have a feeling where this is going to go.
I won't do it, sir.
Hey, vehicle versus tree, single vehicle, no other property damage. The driver is impaired of something. However, he was not in the vehicle when I got on scene. He was in his wife's vehicle. Well, hold on a second.
Okay, cuts out the body cam again and mutes it. I don't like where this is going. I have a feeling justice is not gonna be served here, but we will see. Would love to know what's being discussed right now. If I had to guess based on past reactions, it's probably something about the fact that Mr. old drunk driver here, Mr. Cruz, is a county commissioner. Again, all speculation, but just a little shady to cut out the audio here. There's not supposed to be any sort of preferential treatment when it comes to politicians or elected officials or anyone of that nature when it comes to how the law is levied and how criminal charges are brought. But that's not always how it shakes out.
Does he have his license on him?
Yes.
I get that
can
from-
get his license. Yes. Give your license, please. I'm so sorry. There you go.
Thank you. Are you still at the Daisy Place address?
Yes. Yes. In fact, our daughter just drove by with her soccer teammate, and
Okay.
she got all freaked out.
Go ahead and call a tow truck. Start getting that on the way.
Can I bring him home so he can settle down, and then he'll handle this tow truck situation? We're right here on Daisy. This is Daisy.
What do you mean? Like you're gonna drop him off at home and then?
And then he can go home with my daughter. Just drove by
Okay.
with her soccer teammate.
Yep, that's
so
fine.
Can I drop you off with her?
Yeah, that's
and then
fine.
I can handle this?
Yep.
Thank you, sir. I'll be right back. You want my license?
No, you're fine.
See, this is interesting. I mean, this is already out of the ordinary. we're dealing with that microphone getting turned off. Don't know what was discussed, but if the officer here had a reasonable suspicion that accident was caused by drunk driving, he said that he was on some sort of substance, already admitted to being the driver, there should be a criminal investigation ongoing and that this should be considered a stop. Audio redacted again. But again, this should be considered a traffic stop, and the traffic stop is used to figure out whether a crime has been committed, and the officer's allowed to detain someone as long as they need to find, probable cause. And if there's no probable cause found, then they can be released. But I mean, if we're potentially dealing with a DUI, there should have been a sobriety test. There should have been more questions asked, all before letting him go. So again, this is already a very strange situation. The fact that they're letting the wife of Mr. Cruz take him home. So I think we know the direction where this is going.
Did what? Crash the truck? Are you? The dude freaking crashed into a tree.
Dude, he didn't listen to the road?
No, he's drunk. Just can't do a DUI because nobody can put him behind the wheel.
He said nobody can put him behind the wheel, but they've already both admitted to him driving. So there's enough reasonable suspicion there and potentially probable. This is aggravating because if this was anyone else, I don't think there'd be this type of preferential treatment. But I mean, there's been no mention of the fact that he's a county commissioner, though. So maybe that isn't what was discussed, but we'll see. Audio has been redacted multiple times.
Denver, that's 14832. Oh, yeah, Denver, you dispatched me as well. Denver, east side's going to be 51 as well.
Sorry, y'all don't have much to react to. There's a lot of silence and waiting.
What's up, man? If it would have happened about 15 minutes sooner, I'd have worked it for you. I'm trying to go home. I'm here till 8. I'm trying to look and see how this went down. She's lying. That's his driver's license and his registration. I don't have the insurance. This is probably her coming back up, the wife. Okay. She went and dropped him off at home. He's intoxicated, but when I got here, he was out of the car, in her car, and then there was nobody that stopped to say that they saw him in the car. He's admitting to being in the car and driving. She's admitting to him being in the car and driving, but it is what it is. Single vehicle accident, no property damage or anything like that. He is a county commissioner, FYI.
He is.
So that's why.
Hold up. He is a county commissioner. That's why. All right. So I had a feeling earlier during those audio redacted moments and the moment where he turned off the audio, but some discussion must have taken place discussing the fact that this man's a county commissioner. And again, that is supposed to have no bearing, no influence the way that the rule of law is applied in this country, in the United States, in Florida, where this is happening. And it's looking like, unfortunately, someone with power, political power that was elected is using that influence and power to pull some strings and get favors. But again, we'll see. Maybe he ends up getting charged, but...
Real quick, I just wanted to say that Attorney Tom/Attorney Reacts content is now on Spotify. We just launched a partnered show, link in the description. Go check it out. Now, back to the video.
She's going to be very political with you. Very polite, so just take it for a grain of salt. He was obviously drinking. He's got a LaCroix in the front seat. He couldn't explain to me how his shirt got wet. Well, it's because he had a LaCroix in his hand when he freaking crashed into a tree, probably. So that just tells you more so that he's intoxicated. She's working on getting a tow truck here. Her story is she was driving behind him, and his story after the fact is that somebody cut him off. They pulled around him. She said somebody just cut him off. He said that somebody came around him and cut him off, to pass him, and he lost control of the car because the way the road is. Which, if you're doing the proper speed, he wouldn't have that much crush damage on his hood. So that's just my traffic investigation crap. But it's just easy, simple single vehicle crash. This kind of crush depth for this kind of crash, he was not doing the speed limit that this road requires. If he's saying that somebody went around him,
I will say though that this asphalt has been a complete shit show.
Oh, I
and
agree.
if you get one wrong swerve, it can cause you to go, and people are
To a degree, if you're driving the
Understood.
speed limit that he should have been driving, that would not have been the case. You can hold control of your vehicle. It's not that slippery. I've driven up and down this road for the last 4 hours, okay, at the posted speed limit, and I've had no issues controlling my vehicle.
okay.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Hang on one second.
So just be mindful of that. I know who your husband is, okay, and this could have turned out very badly, and he just needs to be more cognizant of that.
Yes.
All right, whether or not somebody cut him off or not, we'll take that with a grain of salt. But the speed that he was driving was not the speed limit. It was well over the speed limit because there's over 2.5 feet worth of crush damage on this tree. This truck only weighs about 6,000 pounds. I'm a trained traffic investigator. That kind of crush depth would not have happened if he was only traveling at 25 miles an hour.
Of
You're
course.
very smart people,
Of course.
so
Of course.
just
Of course.
there's no reason he should have been driving. You guys have to be mindful of that because then our hands are tied,
I
and then
understand.
we have to make phone calls, and other people have to be involved, and it's just it puts everybody into a really crappy scenario, and I don't want to be there. The benefit here is that nobody out of the 7 people that stopped and told me about this, nobody stayed to say he was in that car. Had that been the case, my traffic units would have been here, worked the crash, worked the DUI, and he would have gone to jail because he was obviously impaired. Nobody that's driving a car that has all their faculties about them wouldn't know where the water came from on his truck, on his shirt. It's because he had a drink in his hand, and when he crashed, the drink went all over him. And an airbag, this crash in and of itself in the airbag wouldn't put somebody into that big of a loop that he didn't know what happened, and it's because he's intoxicated. So please, please, please have a very candid conversation with him about it, that this could have been very, very bad for him.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't appreciate being not given factual points about what happened.
I've never been in this situation.
I know,
Okay?
I know,
I've never
and that's
been
why
in
I'm
this
telling you,
situation.
the way to get out of the situation is nobody drives. We have Uber, we have Lyft, we have places that'll pick up your car and tow it for free. You're with him. I imagine you were with him.
I was a couple minutes behind him.
Okay, so
Thank you.
okay,
Thank you.
all right.
Thank
Just
you.
please, I don't ever want to have to do this to a public official at all. Okay, all right. He's gonna do the crash. It should be fairly quick. He probably won't stay. You'll just have to stay and wait for the tow truck to get here and pull the car off. There's no property damage or anything, so.
I mean, people that watch this channel, watch these videos, Attorney Reacts, I mean, we're usually seeing some nasty behavior from officers, abuses of power. And here we're seeing the opposite. We're seeing a non-abusive power. It's actually refusal to wield the power that they have, refusal to apply the rule of law the way that it's applied to others. Again, I mean, I looked up DUI in Florida, and in order to be charged with the, criminal DUI is that there must be impairment, which was clear here. You're operating it on Florida state roads, which is clear here. We're in Florida. And then the last element is control of the vehicle. So, I mean, the person must be driving or in actual physical control of the vehicle, even if the vehicle isn't moving. Like, say, for example, your car is stopped and the key's in the ignition, you could still get charged with a DUI in that situation. But here, he fled the vehicle, got into the wife's car, and so the control of the vehicle element was not able to be established by this officer, which is what's happening here. He's saying, I couldn't establish that last element, so I couldn't investigate this criminal DUI. But again, I think if he cared enough about the job, he'd be hearing those statements. And if it's a different person who's not a public official, you're probably still keeping them there. You're probably doing the investigation. You're probably doing the blood alcohol test. You're probably doing all sorts of things that happens to everyone else that would be in the same situation. It's aggravating. I know a lot of people are probably aggravated watching this. I am too. All right, y'all. I did a little bit more research on this. This happened in April 2022. And shortly after that, looking into it, it looks like Mr. Cruz is charged with a DUI. In the DUI hearing, it looks like the judge decided to throw out the body cam footage evidence. Not exactly sure for the reasoning on that. I was just reading a quick article on that. And then as of June 21st, 2023, which is just a few months ago, the state prosecutors dropped the DUI case against County Commissioner George Cruz here. So yeah, and this was after the fact that the judge threw out the body cam footage and prevented the jury from listening in on that. So it's not the greatest example of our rule of law here. Goes to show that unfortunately the law is not always judged and That's just fortunate nature of it. But thank y'all once again for watching another video with us here at Attorney Reacts. Again, we don't always see the best examples of the rule of law here, but we're showing you these videos just to shed light on what goes on in the country. And unfortunately, yeah, you know, we've discussed videos where the rule of law is unfairly, you know, handed down against seemingly innocent people, or seemingly people that have done way less than what this public official did, what Mr. Cruz did. And then we're faced with situations where public officials drunk driving could have killed someone. He was driving through his neighborhood, went up on the sidewalk. Who knows if someone was walking there. In the video, we saw a daughter and a soccer teammate drove by. It could have been so much worse, and if it had been, probably would have gotten the DUI, because you can't get out of that. But fortunate, unfortunate, it was a single car crash against a tree. No property damage other than to the tree, and no injuries to Mr. Cruz or anyone else. But that is another episode of Attorney Reacts. Go like, follow, subscribe to us. We're on Facebook and YouTube, and you could find me at Eric Cardenas Law. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Big verdict.